It's Monday, November 4th, and I bought the Bitcoin stocks, and here's why. At least that is the topic of today's video. Nice little clickbait title, but I can explain exactly why I'm kind of looking at this date as significant and what to kind of expect from here, especially with a humongous event coming in tomorrow. But before we get into that, I actually want to let you know of a new thing here on the YouTube channel, which I'll be doing a 30-minute video each and every week, usually posted on like Saturday or Sunday, that essentially fields a question from the community here. And I'll just kind of get through as many questions as I can and answer them as best as I can. Maybe I don't have any answer at all. In fact, it might just be that I say, I don't fucking know. And it is free to post your questions, of course. Anyone can join in. It's within the Discord. You just need to go into the Cave video content section and then find the weekly Q&A. And each and every week, I'll post a new thread, I guess. And then people can just post on it whatever the hell they want. We already have a couple posts here. Big Bob, nice name. I know some Bobs myself, and Maduri, and we'll do our best to answer those likely Saturday or Sunday. So you can join on in and post and do whatever the hell you want there. Anyways, let's get into the actual topic of the day, which is Bitcoin, the Bitcoins, and a couple things here. So first and foremost, obviously tomorrow is US election day, which you can definitely tell by the amount of fucking crazy bullshit that you see on all social media venues and just everywhere that you go. It is absolutely destroying my mind. My brain is melting, but what I wanted to quickly address here is a couple things. One, all of the prior election days are going to be notified in these red vertical bars you can see. And you can see that generally Bitcoin likes to go up and to the right from that time. Now, there can still be a bit of sideways, leading up from that, but generally markets like certainty and don't like uncertainty. And right now it's uncertain because you don't know who's going to be the president. But, I don't really think it matters who even becomes president. I think Bitcoin will do its thing regardless. What I do think matter, however, is if there's a contested election. If you see tomorrow night, Tuesday, both sides saying that they won, or even if it's just like super, super close, it's a fucking recipe for disaster, in my opinion, because that would just be more uncertainty, right? You can feel the tension in the air right now from both sides, no matter which side that you're on. But what I also wanted to address here, assuming that all goes well, which is a big assumption, big fucking assumption. I'm not saying that I'm going to be right on this, but a big assumption. All prior times in Bitcoin's history, we've seen in election years, or just in November in general, a relatively good month. 9 out of 14 Novembers closing positively for an average return of 21%, the median return of 12.5%. On the losing side, losing an average of 17%, kind of a lot, but higher probability of winning November. So seasonality is there for you. On top of that, Bitcoin November lows have generally come in during the early portion of the month in macro uptrends, which we're in right now, on average around day number 7. And whenever it's been a US election year, those have come in extremely early within the month on the second day, the third day, and the second day, respectively, for 2012, 2016, and 2020. And what's even, and another point of reference for this as well is that all of these lows were obviously very early on within the month, but they were all before the US elections as well, every single one. So I did think that was rather interesting, and that's why I was looking at that. Again, doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but of course that does play somewhat hand in hand over here with our Bitcoin Monday setup. It's a super fucking simple setup using the Quant Prime tools, which you saw over there in the school. But ultimately, it is simply this: just longing at 0 UTC on the start of Monday, basically, and then closing that long at 10 a.m. UTC on Tuesday has netted these results over the full history of Bitcoin. Or, well, that's not the full history. Hey, this is also not the full history. We can go back to the first day, I guess, but there's going to be some pretty crazy results, I expect. But basically what I'm going to show here is that, it has been, as we'll see once these statistics do load, a coin flips probability whether this strategy works out, whether it prints a profitable trade or not. But because the profit factor for the winning trades is higher than 1, in this case, it's actually above 1.4, it does produce positive returns over the full history of Bitcoin. Now, I do think it's a little bit disingenuous to include the full history of Bitcoin, because you can see, in the early days of Bitcoin, these first few years over here, like there were humongous gains, which I don't think is going to be like super relevant. But if we were to omit that, just because I already know the data and I don't want to wait for that damn thing to populate again, on average, we see Bitcoin print about 4% for those winning trades. And when it is a losing trade, it loses an average of about 3%. I think that we could very easily see both of these. Why that? Because to the upside, 4% would put Bitcoin where? $71,500. And in the downside, 3% to the downside will put Bitcoin 66,600 or $67,000. Bitcoin could very easily pop back down, test around there, and then end tomorrow up, assuming that there is an actual clear winner. So I like that kind of plays hand in hand with that. Again, not guaranteed to work out, but there's a few other things in the background here that I do think, hold a bit of weight. So let's go over here. We've been just watching a very simplistic piece of analysis again, which is the 5-day and the weekly 5 exponential moving average, which is this red moving average right here. Generally, Bitcoin likes to reconnect with it almost on every period. Now, yes, sometimes it does stay like a period or two away, but price does not move too much when you see something like that. Like, for example, right here, boom, closes below. Okay, no reconnect, but price is not doing anything. It's not doing shit until it does reconnect, and then you get actually a reversal. But in this case right here, we have seen the last 5-day reconnect. So this very well could be the low. The weekly time frame is not reconnected just yet, but if theoretically Bitcoin were to absolutely fucking green dildo its way to the heavens and beyond, okay, not necessarily the heavens, but let's say $72,000, then you're going to see this actually pulled up so that it actually does reconnect by end of week here. Same thing on CME. Moving on from there, I did want to get into the bi-weekly stochastic oscillator, just because we did call this one out a couple weeks ago when this one did confirm to the upside for the first time in a very long time. The last time was actually about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, in late October of 2023. And in this, again, would be favoring the upside. The pivot also going down to 57,300. And the last few times that we've seen even just a bi-weekly stochastic momentum turn to the upside on low volatility, I should add as well, were, this, and this. So not bad. And this one's even coming off of a little bit of hidden bullish divergence here. So again, if you are bullish, this is very likely the move. We really would be expecting Bitcoin to continue up here this week and likely next as well. So yeah. Anyways, moving on from there, I did want to get into the HPDR. The daily time frame gets the range incredibly well. In fact, on CME here, kind of showing the same thing that we looked at for the Monday strategy. To the downside, if Bitcoin were to choose it, somewhere around mid 66. Median is coming in pretty much where price action is at right now, 69,110, and then the top side of the 38.2 level is coming in at 72,355. So above 72,355, I actually would be looking at Bitcoin as confirming a breakout to the upside. I know that that's maybe a little bit premature to what other people are saying. That's fine, but getting back above that region, just getting back above Friday's high, just even ticking above Friday's high, very likely going to be good enough for Bitcoin to get some actual continuation, at least making a slightly new high relatively soon after that. Last thing here, as we get into some traditional markets, traditional markets similar to Bitcoin, short term could very easily see some downside volatility here. Or sorry, whoops, I'm on the wrong chart. Here's SPY futures, here's NASDAQ futures. NAS trades a little bit closer to Bitcoin, although to the upside they have not been super correlated, obviously. but again, having a reconnect here, a little bit lower, like $100 lower on NAS, and then trying for some upside movement, I think is probably likely. Same thing on SPY as well. Same number would be just below 57. So ultimately, it's. We probably see a downside try. Maybe it happens today. Maybe it happens tomorrow. But I'm not really bearish from there. I know a lot of people are looking at this as bearish, but I'm actually not. I've spent a lot of time fucking studying SPY, by the way, just the long-term history, like not even this chart, but the one that goes all the way to like 1880. You think what you're seeing right now is crazy, but you haven't studied history if you think that there's been significant runs that just continue and continue and continue. Anyways, that's another topic for another video. I think this one's probably good as is. Again, just the final day that we've all been waiting for. And mostly for me, I'm waiting for it to end. Fucking tired of going on Twitter or in the Discord or on YouTube and just seeing like mental illness play out at all levels. So you know what, actually I should come up with an area of like where does SPY actually fail. Below 56, big problems. NASDAQ below 19,800, big problems. Until then, it's higher lows. Anyways, that's where I'll leave things off for today. As always, I want to wish you the best. Take care. Much love. And see you hopefully on an unthinking Tuesday.